Hello and welcome back to MindSpanse. I'm Craig, and I want to thank you for taking some time with me. Today, I'm going to talk about the spring cleaning of the mind. I sort of foreshadowed that in my last video, and I'm sort of ripping this off from my brother's guided meditation, which is amazing, called Spring Cleaning of the Mind, that he did a year ago, in last spring, or 2 years ago, and it's really great. It's definitely listen to that. But I want to do a short video on it because I was in the park today and I was watching the flowers bloom and the tulips and the cherry blossoms, and I was like, man, it's just so nice to see this. That winter is behind us, and we all talk about spring cleaning, but sometimes we need to spring clean our mind, and we don't often spend enough time doing that. So let's start with a very big stretch. Reach up high to the sky. And like in yoga poses, like pull up with your hands and at the same time push down with the balls of your feet. And so you get that great stretch. Breathe in through your nose. Hold it for a second. And then slowly release. Relax your shoulders. Relax your jaw. And we're good to go. All right. So, spring cleaning of the mind. I mean, this is sort of the culmination of like so many other videos, like letting go of attachments and all this stuff. But I just did this video on being unleashing the creator within you. And the spring cleaning part is what allows that to happen, because recognizing the layers of constructs that you have built up in your psyche is very, very critical to then releasing them, unlocking your passion and the truth, and turning negativity into positivity, turning fear into courage, and all this kind of stuff. And so how do you do that? How do you start with that process? And I think the best thing to think about is like a knot. Like you have a knot, like headphone knots, which can drive you crazy. But if you have a knot, like you're faced with a knot, my son says, "Oh, can you untie this knot?" And he tries to do this as fast as he can, and of course it becomes a total disaster, and the knot gets worse and worse and worse. And what you need to do is you need to look at the knot and figure out sort of how it's constructed, and take your time and slow down and do some breathing, and little by little you give some room, you create some space, and then you undo the knot, and boom, you're better. And that's the same thing with these constructs. You need to get familiar with them. And so when you're thinking about this spring cleaning process, the first thing you really have to do is sort of take an assessment of your day, every day, and sort of think about how you react to situations as you're going through them. And maybe you want to even take notes, take a little notepad or make a little note on your phone. When you think you've reacted weird, like if you got angry or you got upset or whatever, or you got super whatever, like you reacted to something or to somebody or whatever. And so these kinds of things a lot of them are pre-programmed. You've programmed them yourself, or society's program, or whatever it is, but it's become this layer that reinforces itself over and over again. And I did a great guided meditation called Letting Go of Attachment, so I highly encourage you this goes through, it's much longer and it goes through this whole process, so that's really helpful. But the simple thing is just to observe yourself, observe how you move through space, observe your body position, observe your, how you feel, how you interact, all these things. Like just watch yourself and say, well, how much of that is old stuff? That's probably, well, if today's today and you're being present, it's all old. Muji would say, check everything at the door. It's a great one that he talks about. It's like check everything at the door, not just your ego. everything. Everything that you ever were, everything that you thought you might be, everything you've ever learned. Check it at the door. And then walk through the door as like a reborn soul facing the world for the first time. And it sounds harder than it is. Actually, if you visualize that unpacking part, it's actually quite easy. You just say, I'm going to leave this and I'm going to leave this. And there's a funny piece of it where he says, oh, the guy who he's telling to unpack walks in the room. He sits there for a minute and Muji's sitting there. And then the guy goes, so now what? And Muji's like, check the now what's at the door too. So you can experience life through your physicality, of course, and your mind, but do it from a place of purity, from a place where you've released all those thoughts and constructs. And as you go through this process, and it doesn't take very long, if you did this for a week or two or whatever, you'd start to see like, oh, this is that. That was from 5 years ago. I'm still thinking about this, that. And how do you move beyond? So now you've sort of categorized or thought about these things and say, how do I move beyond it? How do I clean, right? And it's about releasing the attachment to that thing or that feeling or that memory or whatever, or that thought. And you're like, well, yeah, but it's so ingrained in who I am. And if I don't have that, then maybe subconsciously I'm going to be empty and alone. And I sort of like all these things around me. And a lot of people have that. They don't even realize it. They surround themselves with their constructs because they feel like without them, they would be empty. And it's like totally the opposite. As a matter of fact, that quiet observation place, empty place, is actually a place that's filled with energy and light and love and gratitude and unbelievable stuff. And it's an amazing place. And so don't worry about that, I promise. You don't need any of that stuff. And you'll be just perfect. And so as you identify these things, like let's say I'm reacting to someone at work who's we know pushing the buttons. Someone knows how to push your buttons. Well, those buttons are these deeply ingrained constructs. And so when that happens, you got to really think about what it is that's going on. That you're empowering the person. Forget about the person. You are empowering this construct. The person's a trigger, but you are empowering. You're putting energy and power into this construct that's building and growing in your body and getting stronger, and you're making it stronger. And so the best thing to do is walk away from it. So whenever you have that initial reaction, realize that you're empowering that reaction and just stop doing it. Say, I'm not going to empower that reaction. I'm going to deal with it later. I know I feel this way, except, you feel this way. You feel bad or you feel angry or whatever. That's cool. But just put it away for a second. Say, I'll feel angry in an hour. Like, I'm going to be angry about this an hour from now. Right now, I'm going to go take a walk and have some ice cream, or go for a run, or do a push-up, or whatever I'm going to do. And something I'm really happy about. And I'm going to be really angry about it an hour from now. And if you keep doing that, you'll realize that an hour from now, you're not even angry anymore. Or you might get a little angry because you think about it. And so when you say, okay, I'm thinking about it, so that means I'm empowering it again. So now I'm going to push it out. I'm not going to do it again. And so every time you turn, because think about it, you got to retrain your brain, right? So you have to depower those negative constructs and empower positive constructs. So like if someone, do the opposite. Go back to them and say, if it makes you mad, you say, I'm not sure why that really got me angry, and whatever that button is, but I just want to say something in a super positive way, And And I'm trying not to be that reactive, right? So maybe you can be helpful as part of that process, maybe. Or maybe you just resolve it internally, however you want to do it. But shifting, it's about shifting the energy away from empowering the construct to depowering, to empowering something that's really positive, right? And if you continue to do that, you will start to clean up these other your brain is really smart about stuff. Like if you put, it's not like it's trying to hurt you or it's trying to like screw you up. It's trying to help you. So that's what the brain does. We talk about this all the time. Your brain is designed to help you be more efficient in your life. And so your brain doesn't know anything about anything per se. It just says, oh, this guy is spending a lot of energy and time about this thing, so he must really care about it. So I'm going to help him. So you're basically training your brain to help you embolden a negative construct. That's what you do. And that seems like a pretty easy thing to change. It's not, because it's been so long. But when you start to change, your brain will start to change and say, oh, he doesn't really care about that anymore, so I'm not going to put that, not in the, I'm going to make that memory disappear, and it's not going to be part of like right there. It's going to be far away. And then if you focus your energy on really positive stuff, that's what's going to come up front. That's what's always going to be tied to, and your brain's going to focus on that and build new neural connections around really positive things, because that's what it does. So this is the spring cleaning process. It may take longer than spring. It may take you into summer, but it's always a great time to start. I wish you amazing success, and I have lots of other videos that talk through different pieces of all these things, so I encourage you to check them out. And definitely check out my brother's guided meditation on this. It's pretty good. It's really good, actually, and it's great for sleeping. I actually listen to it when I'm going to sleep. And have a great day. Thank you so much. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, share it with your friends, and it helps get the message out. So appreciate it, and have an awesome day. Thank you.